How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with look at that thing. Yeah, that's not new. That's not new school beer time. This is old school beer time from brewery I've never heard of before, in the form of Birrificio Grado Plato. This is their Strada S Felice. It's an 8% alcohol by volume amber ale brewed with chestnuts. Yeah, it's a B United import. Boom, 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 boom. Is one of the reasons why I picked it up. Two reasons why I picked this up. One, I kind of wanted to drink something out of a girl shop tonight. I just wanted to. You know, sometimes I just buy stuff randomly because of whatever. And then when I looked on the back, it was a B United jam. So B United was one of the probably of the two biggest importers in the United States. B United is one of them. The other one would be Shelton Brothers. They're kind of Pepsi and Coke when it comes to those things. And I've never had a bad B United import. So I'm kind of curious to see where this one kind of lands for me. I'm trying to figure out a date on this sucker. It says Das. See, it's supposed to have I think it's supposed to be up here on this ribbon. It's supposed to be the actual dating on this, but it's not printed, so I couldn't tell you the actual date on this sucker. But it's, like I said, it's an amber ale brewed with chestnuts. And yeah, that's all I got here, man. Yeah. I really dig the bottling label. I'm a sucker for these Grolsch tops, and we'll see what's what. So yeah, let's give her a pour. So you're talking about an amber ale with chestnuts. I'm leaning 8%, leaning this towards more of kind of an imperial brown ale, maybe some kind of, pseudo barley wine, Italian barley wine. I don't know. But she does look the part of like a brown ale, a winter warmer, a quad, a Belgian, those kind of beers. That's where it kind of leans as far as coloration goes. Nice kind of rich kind of doo-doo water body, as I would put it, with that nice soft malted malt ball colored kind of head to it. Label-wise, it's cool. Just old school, as old school could be. So it kind of caught my eye in that sense once I sold that flip-top Grolsch top. Daddy was sold. So yeah, look at that. My glass is leaning. It pisses me off when it leans. Then it doesn't look straight. It's like leaning off to the side. Hey, leaning. It's like the Tower of Pizza. I know it's pizza. I just had to say pizza to piss people off. Anyway, so yeah, she looks like a malt forward beer. Let's put it that way. Let's see if we get a nose on it. What does that remind me of? It reminds me of another beer. It reminds me of a low ABV English barley wine. It's really kind of where it lands to me because I'm getting caramel, I'm getting toffee, I'm getting... Man, that toffee caramel sugar daddy thing is really in there. You know what it reminds me of a little bit? Is Fuller's Vintage Ale. Very much like that. Now, this smells a little bit fresher. I don't see any kind of murk ring. Oh, no, there's a little bit of murk ring on there. So this probably has a little bit of time on it. We'll see if I can actually track down dating post-review. But it does remind me quite a bit of, Sammy Smith's Vintage Ale. Yeah. Soft caramel vibes. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm getting this big chestnut vibe off it, but it definitely has like a nutty malt to it. Rich kind of, even almost like soft cherry undertones to it. That sugar daddy, like I said, sugar daddy date figgy toffee thing kind of floating underneath. Done and done. Smells like a pretty beer. It's a pretty beer. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, man. That's delicious. That's delicious. It's very much Samuel Smith's Vintage Ale. That's exactly what it is. Man, it's like creepily similar. Like I almost want to get another one of these and grab a Vintage Ale and do a side by side because it's creepily similar. That toffee comes out more. It kind of trumps a little bit of that date figgy thing. Even though that's still there, the sugar daddy vibes are a little bit bigger, but it's really that toffee coming to a head. Nice, soft, sultry, silky mouthfeel to it. While at the same time having a bit of heft, so you know you're drinking something of relatively high ABV. There's a little bit of soft bittering. Nothing too, I couldn't really call out much to the bittering other than a generic bittering, but it's very much welcome because it is a malt leaning beer. Not that it's overly sweet, but that bittering just adds a little bit more of a balance to that sweetness. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm getting this big, nutty kind of finish on it, but it definitely comes off as like a rich kind of nut malt forward kind of beer. that little bit of soft cherry I was getting in the nose isn't really following through on the taste. It's really that kind of toffee thing. And it's not super sweet, vibrant, in your face kind of toffee. It's a little bit kind of watered down, washed out kind of toffiness. But that's the big leader in the clubhouse here. Really nice, beautiful carbonation. A little bit of soft oxidation. I think it actually lends a little bit of depth to the beer, so I actually appreciate it here. I like this beer a lot, man. This is a tasty beer. This is food beer for me. This is exactly where this beer lands. This is a beer I want to eat, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I don't know what I'd eat with this, actually, because it can go a couple different directions, but it's something that, for me, this is a dinner beer. This is something I like to eat along with a relatively robust kind of, meat, gamey kind of thing, maybe even kind of pasta, pizza kind of thing going on. Maybe that's just the Italian thing kind of placebo affecting me. But I'll put it this way. You can go back and watch my Vintage Ale, Sam Smith's Vintage Ale reviews. And I've never been blown away by that beer. I've always liked it. I liked it aged. I liked it relatively fresh. There's something about the beer that I dig, but it just kind of leaves me wanting a little bit. That's the big difference between that beer and this beer. To me, they taste almost identical, but there's something about this beer I enjoy more. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the flip top. Maybe it's the presentation. Maybe it's just me today as opposed to the last time I reviewed it. I don't know. But what I do know is that this is damn tasty stuff. It's very much like a very old English barley wine light. That's kind of how it's coming off. That's how it is described. Fuller's. I keep saying Samuel Smith's. It's Fuller's. I don't know why I keep doing that. So everybody that, when you type below and you keep calling me out by saying Samuel Smith's, it's not Samuel Smith's, it's Fuller's. When you get to this point, you can go back and delete those now. It's because I actually said it. So yeah, it reminds me of that Fuller's Vintage Ale. But there's just something more to it. There's just something more to it, and I don't know what it is. But I like them both. I do. But like I said, when I would talk about that Fuller's Vintage Ale, it was more of a methadone, I would call it. A methadone version of a really old Hardee's or a really old J.W. Lee's. Oddly enough, I picked up J.W. Lee's at the same place I purchased this at. 2002, mind you, so 18 years old. Ooh. See how that shelfy turd held up. Anyway, but there's something about this one, just a little bit more to it. Microns, but a little bit more. I dig it. I think it's tasty. I think it's fun. Let's cut the chase. Is this one of the better malt forward old world beers? I guess we can go with this one. And if had as of late, it's going to default into yes, just because I haven't had a ton as of late. It's summertime. It's not something you usually deal with or dig on so much, especially when it comes to review status. But it's tasty nonetheless. I dig it. It's fantastic. Value and availability. That's where this one kind of goes a little bit sideways. Availability, I can get it. I saw a whole shelf of them. I can go get as many as I want. $13 for this bottle. So you're talking about, is this 500 milliliters? It's got to be 500 milliliters, right? Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. I can still never convert pints and ounces to milliliters, but yeah, I think it's 500 milliliters. That's pricey. I mean, this beer, non-barrel aged, one of those beers, sure, probably has a little bit of time on it, but nothing too crazy. This has got to be sub $10, but it's an import from Italy, and Italian beers always skew high, so it is what it is. I paid for it. I bought it. I have no problems paying the price point. I paid for it. I just, I wish it was a little cheaper. Let's put it that way. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like those beers I mentioned previously, if you like the Hardee's, you like the Lee's, you like the old stocks, you like them old, you want something a little bit more drinkable, way less in ABV. Or if you are a really big fan of Fuller's Vintage Ale, and you can't find it, and this is something you can obtain. It is not exactly the same beer, but close enough to where I think you'd get as much enjoyment of this beer as you would that beer if that's one of your favorite beers. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little old school beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.